Hey everyone, this is an introduction to smart contracts. Smart contracts are contracts on the blockchain or transactions or agreements on the blockchain. Blockchains that have smart contracts are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Algorand, and Solana. One of the really cool things about smart contracts is they create a faster, cheaper, and more efficient way to conduct transactions and agreements between different parties, people, or businesses. So, looking at the backdrop against which this innovation occurred, we looked at contracts, which are just any legally binding agreement. And all contracts must have essentially two things: it's a promise and a signature. Something as simple as a promise written on the back of a note or a receipt or a napkin could be considered a contract. From a legal perspective, we look at different jargon, like is it a transaction resulting for a bargain for exchange? Was there a meeting of the minds or mutual assent as to the terms of the agreement? And do both parties give or forbear consideration? But what that really boils down to is we need to have some sort of promise and then some sort of representation of that promise or signature. Contracts typically look like this, right? Like they just go on and on and on, and they're really difficult to read, and there's a reason for it. And there are a lot of problems. They're very long, but eventually at the end, you have some signature that validates the agreement. And smart contracts are much better, right? They're much simpler, they're much easier. So smart contracts have three main elements. It's a transaction, digital signature, and that digital signature and transaction are recorded on the blockchain. So what makes a good smart contract is clear, concise, code is clean, and it's open source. Here you can see you don't have to know anything about code to see, we have our transaction here, we have our signature here, and then we have the representation of the transaction on the blockchain here. So this is a smart contract for voting. If the person votes 1, then this transaction executes. And if the person chooses 0, then this transaction executes. It's signed and recorded on the blockchain, and that allows for the smart contract to operate. So what? Why do we care about smart contracts? Well, again, faster, more secure, and cheaper. Those are the three big benefits of smart contracts compared to traditional contracts. But this could save companies a lot of money, right? Like it costs a fortune to actually go through a deal, up to $50,000 per transaction. I mean, some companies spend way more than that. I mean, there's definitely deals that are seven figures in terms of just the costs associated with a deal in terms of legal fees and document review and transaction costs. But with smart contracts, you can have deals for less than $1,000. It really just cuts out a lot of the unnecessary waste associated with traditional transactions and traditional contracts. There are a bunch of different types of smart contracts. There's applications that are live on the blockchain. Things like these can be written in languages like TO and Algorand or Ethereum for Solidity. You can have contracts for creating new assets like Algorand assets or ERC20 tokens. You can think about ASAs like ChoiceCoin or Choice, or ERC20s like Chainlink, Link token. But there are all kind of use cases for smart contracts. For example, voting, rewards or staking, or even just traditional transactions, right? Like to move from a traditional contract model to a on-chain transactional model. The overall goals for smart contracts over time are to become more decentralized, more trustless, and more autonomous. And these are all terms of degree. So typically projects or smart contracts start, they're more toward the centralized space. They're more requiring trust and they're less autonomous. But over time, the goal is to make these things more decentralized, more trustless, and autonomous, so that there's less intermediary or less third-party interaction between the two parties that are using the contract. So thank you. Yeah, you guys rock. Thanks for listening. Let's build something great. That's our motto at ChoiceCoin. So if you're interested in learning more about smart contracts or building smart contracts, definitely check out ChoiceCoin on GitHub. I will put the link in the description below. Thanks again, and have a great day.